How you doing, everyone? Anthony Taylor, managing partner at SME Strategy here, and today I want to talk to you about what I think is coming down the pipe for the next couple months for strategy leaders like you. So if you're leading an organization, whether you're a CEO or an executive director or you're a business owner, I think there's a couple things that you need to be aware of as you develop your team strategy, as you develop your leadership, as you move your team forward. So one of the big things that's coming up right now for organizations is wave 4 or 5, wherever you are, of COVID. And that's going to, change how people are working. It's going to add another level of uncertainty. It's going to start impacting people like mentally more. But I think the biggest thing from it, and distinct from last year and the previous ones, wave 1, 2, and 3, people said, okay, it'll pass. In wave 4, I think people are going to start to become okay with living with it. I think it's going to be more regular than it is going to be irregular. So as a leader, you need to start thinking that, these waves of challenges or disruptions aren't going away. So how can you bake in a contingency to, maintain the continuity with your organization moving forward? Not only like day-to-day operations, but also, human resource planning, health and safety planning, comfortable work environment and trust. All of those things go into it, as well as your overall strategy and strategic plan. We recently made a video on the pros and cons of doing strategy virtually. I encourage you to really think of virtual strategic planning or online strategic planning as an option in case you aren't able to meet in person, because I think the worst thing that you can do is go into these challenging situations, call it blindly, but without aligning your leadership team in terms of what you need to do. As a CEO, you don't need all of that burden, you don't need all of that on your shoulders. So look to the people that you count on, have those conversations, and do it in a structured way where you can step back and look at all of the pieces of the puzzle. Don't plan 2, 3, 4 months down the road, because I think it's, gone are the days that'll get you through. I think it's really about looking at scenario planning, looking at the future, and understanding that there's a lot of different possibilities that could happen. And you sort of need to plan for all of those, not only with your internal business operations, but, sales, marketing, production, and everything that you're doing. So that's one. Number 2 is getting comfortable with new working situations. The hybrid model is now here to stay. You've seen a lot of different people do different examples, either mandating it, work from home, mandating work from office, some sort of hybrid model, being able to be comfortable with that. I've talked to a lot of people, and they say, meeting in person is the way to go. And it's largely been reactive. I think now, end of 2021, being proactive, putting those policies and procedures in place. I don't think you can go any longer without something formalized. Just because you formalize it now does not mean it needs to be like that forever. But, some people say we need to meet in person if we can. I don't think you have the luxury of mandating that. I think Zoom, virtual meetings, teleconferencing, all of that stuff is here to stay. So be proactive, put a policy in place and structure, what that means for you, what that means for your organization, and what will support you and your outcomes best. It's not all bad. There's a lot of opportunities here. You may or may not want to, solicit feedback or information from your employees, but I do think you need to put something in place formally to structure that. I've heard a lot of people say, group work in person, solo work at home. Again, you might not have the luxury of being able to choose. So just be aware that that is going to be here to stay. And then whatever choices you make are going to impact your people as individuals. It's going to impact your people who manage and lead others, as in leading other remote teams. And it's also going to change how you do your core job and your core function. So there's a lot of ramifications, both for, production, operations, and hiring. As in, what are your hiring protocols for the future? So even looking at the HR component of your business or your organization for the next 12 months is going to be a consideration. One of the third things I want you to think about is conversations about race, diversity, and inclusion. I think that as people are getting back into work and as people are becoming more comfortable with their discomfort, I think you're going to have more conversations about it. I think it's going to come up more and more. And I think you should have those conversations. And I think it's worthwhile for you to be prepared to have them, because especially now that there's distributed workforces and people are getting back into work, both from getting their unemployment checks or because of necessity, it's going to disrupt the workforce. Businesses that grew are going to keep needing staff. Businesses that shrunk are going to have to diversify and move around that. And I think people changing in those work environments have a certain expectation and understanding. You can choose to have a conversation or not. I believe that it's going to be part of organizational culture moving forward. I also believe that there's a very good business case for diversity and inclusion, whatever that means to you. So 3 things that you really want to be aware of. Virtual is here to stay. Do your strategic planning virtually if you can. It's going to save you time, money, and most importantly, going to support your continuity. Work from home policies, how are you going to structure that? I think we're just in the new normal, and it's going to be more like this. And I don't think it's ever going to be like how it was before. And then similarly, conversations about diversity, race, and inclusion, they're going to happen more and more. There's going to be an expectations for leaders to take a stand on it and to discuss it. And so I invite you to be proactive with that and, be curious about the conversation, because it's an opportunity for you to grow and for your leaders to grow and equip them with the tools they need to be successful. There's a lot of great opportunity here, but you can only take advantage of it if you're equipped with the tools to do so. So be proactive in all of that. Look at your strategic plans and your organizational strategy still 3 years down the road, but plan for contingencies through scenario planning. Set short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, and then talk to your stakeholders because their needs and preferences have changed drastically and probably several times throughout this. Their internal reprioritization, needs, wants, psychological safety, all things that have challenged. So as a CEO, you got to be reflective in all of those. And I think you got to be proactive in all of those things to be able to use them to your advantage. So hopefully that gives you a couple things to take away. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Put your notes in the comments. Would love to hear from you about that. But I'm interested to see what the rest of 2021 holds, as well as 2022. I think we're in for more change, not more of what it was before. So if you want to make sure you get all of our videos, be sure to subscribe, like it if you liked it, and we will see you in the next video. My name is Anthony Taylor. I'm the managing partner at SME Strategy. We help teams create and implement their strategic plans through facilitated strategy meetings, both online and in person. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see everybody next time.